What's going on? You are now locked in and tuned in to the very first episode of the DWSOP. That's right. It is the Dreams We Speak On podcast with your host with the most, Denzel Martin. Man, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. For y'all who don't know me, man, it's been a while since I had to introduce myself, but I'm a veteran, active duty military soldier. I am a life coach, certified. I am an ordained minister. I am, man, so many things. But I was a former podcast host. I used to co-host the amazing chart-topping, I'm exaggerating, but in our own right, in our own defense, we were very successful. The former Freeway Radio, the Empowerment Podcast, with my boy Gino Gardner, aka Gino Worldwide. Shout out to you, bro. But this is something new. This is something fresh. Hopefully, it's going to be something that y'all find entertaining, inspiring, mostly. Man, it's just something new, something grand. Some of y'all are going to be able to see this live or at least pre-recorded on YouTube. So if you're watching by video, hey, man, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. This is the first episode, so forgive me if I got a little bit of jitters, man, but I've been excited about starting this podcast. Dreams We Speak On, we're going to get into it. Dreams We Speak On podcast is really all about the dreamers and the visionaries. This, as we go on, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but this is the audio hub for dreamers and visionaries alike. And what I mean by that is this is the place where my dreamers can come and get recharged. Like, y'all going to come and y'all going to get refilled. To be a dreamer and to be somebody who's a visionary, to have a vision, it's a big thing. It's a magical thing. It's an amazing thing that I think a lot of people take for granted. And the reason why I say that is because, now you hear a whole lot of people talking about manifestation, I'm more so with the faith-based side of things. And manifesting comes from that. But I think people have a misconception about it. So when I say faith-based, I mean, speak those things that are not as though they were. The power of life and death lies in the tongue. You gotta speak those dreams, because Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain, So this is a podcast that's dedicated to inspiring those of us, because I'm one of y'all. This is a podcast for us to come in, get recharged, and get back out there, striving and going all in on our dreams. So it ain't going to be too long. We're going to play it by ear this first episode, but I want to try to keep it within the lines of 35, 45 minutes. Y'all going to expect to eventually see some guests on here. But for now, we're going to rock it solo dolo, me, D. So this is the first episode. And the title of this episode is The Leap. So what are we talking about with the leap? Right? Question for y'all. When it comes to taking a leap, how many of us are doing it with no holds barred? I'm talking about no reserve, no restraints, right? You're taking a leap of faith, like the Jaguar emblem. Like, we've all seen the emblem on the Jaguar, right? The Jaguar is literally leaping off of the car. And I'm pretty sure that when they made that particular symbol, it was the Jaguar was leaping out to its prey, something that it was chasing after, something that it was striving for, something that it was trying to gain, to attain, So to be a dreamer, we have to take on that characteristic. We're trying to leap out on faith for whatever your dream is, whatever your vision is, whatever's been placed on your heart to go after, to do. That's what you're leaping towards. So let's get into this episode, man. Right? I want to start it off by talking about the type of animals that leap. I already named one. And I didn't put that particular animal down. Talking about the jaguar. I didn't put that particular animal down within the list, but I only got two that I really want to expound upon, right? The two types of animals that leap are the cougar and the impala. There's many more. Trust me, there's many more out there, but I chose to study the cougar and the impala. All right, so let's get to the cougar, right? And I ain't talking about older women, but a cougar. We're talking about the cat, right? Cougars can leap forward 18 feet, right? Lunging at you, 18 feet in front of them, and about 5 feet into the air. That cougar runs along the lines of that jaguar that we was talking about. The forward progression, 18 feet, that's pretty far ways away. If y'all ever tried to do, what is that? When you train for the Olympics, and they want you to do that one particular event, you jumping as far forward as you can. 18 feet, that's pretty far. All right. Then we talking about the impala. And I ain't talking about the dope boy car. I ain't talking about the donk. I ain't talking about that thing that's sitting outside with the 24s on it. I'm talking about the impala, which they would call the African antelope, right? It can leap forward 33 feet. 33 feet and about 10 feet high. 10 feet high. That's crazy. But not unheard of. So when we relate back to us as dreamers and visionaries, we got to have that same type of skill, that same type of tenacity, that same level of effort, right? So if you ever heard of leaps and bounds, right? What does leaps and bounds mean? To progress quickly and in big strides rather than slow and steady. Man, when I think about leaps and bounds, it's pretty much saying you're operating on a level where the success is coming very, very fast. Like, you don't have time to wait. You don't have to wait to see it. It's there, right? It's there in the midst. Just as fast as you are going and as fast as you are putting out content, as fast as you are throwing up posts to get attention, trying to gain followers, it's coming. It's all coming. It's all coming together. It's all working together for your good, right? That's leaps and bounds. And it's a level of experience. Or I won't say experience. It's a level of work. It's a work ethic. It's a level of consistency that you got to have to be able to see those types of results. And when we out here following our dreams, sometimes after we put in so much of that effort, sometimes we slow up. And sometimes once we've gotten, that little bit of success that we were looking for, that's when we feel like we can breathe. That's when we feel like we can ease up. That's when we feel like we can fall back. But honestly, I think that's when the real work begins, because now you got a little taste of it. Now you got people who are expecting you to continue to put out more and more. You got people who are expecting you to show and prove, right? So when it comes to us taking the leap, some of us, that's what we want to see. Some of us don't want the process. right? As crazy as it sounds, some of us don't want to go through the process. We don't want the slow and steady pace. Think about back in school when the first time you heard the tortoise and the hare, right? The hare was very confident in his speed. He knew he was gonna beat that turtle. He said, "I'm gonna run laps around that turtle. Like I ain't even gotta really try." And the hare was able to go leaps and bounds, right? Because it was so effortless to him. He was able to put so much effort in, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna stop here on the side of the road. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna sleep, and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna still beat that turtle." Right? That's what the hare said. But the turtle was determined. Check this out. And turtles are actually my favorite animal. Just so y'all know. We'll talk about that some other time on these episodes, man. But the turtle was determined. You may be faster than me, hare. You may have more confidence than me, hare. You may actually beat me. But that's not going to stop me from putting one foot in front of the other. It's not going to stop me from still working at my own pace. Because I'm not doing it for you, particularly. I'm doing this for me. I have my own goals. I have my own vision. I have my own dreams. And I don't care if you or anybody else believes in that. I'm still going to strive for it. And he never quit. The turtle never quit. He continued to stay consistent. And you know what? He ended up beating that hare. And it's funny, it's literally a cartoon or a book, a figurative book, right? But I watched this video one time where they tested it out. They literally put a rabbit on one side and a turtle on the other side, made a straight lane for both of them, put them side by side. And I believe they might have put a piece of food at the end, because that's the reward. The reward for them to get to the end is that particular food, right? And people were expecting the rabbit, to win. The rabbit started very quickly, and then ended up stopping, got distracted, didn't even want to race no more, while the turtle just kept going one step at a time. And people were laughing. And the person who had the rabbit, they was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. What are you doing?" They're talking to the rabbit, right? Man, that turtle beat the rabbit. And it was funny because the story was figurative. The story had a message in it, but it was a true event that ended up happening. But it just goes to show you us as dreamers, right? When you dream and you start something, you got to finish it, but you also got to be consistent. If you get distracted or you get overzealous or you get too cocky, you're going to end up being that rabbit, that hare. But if you continue to put one foot in front of the other, we want to take leaps and bounds, but sometimes a slow and steady pace wins the race. Sometimes that's all there's to it, right? So we talking about leaps, right? The leap. A leap of faith is an acceptance of or willingness to do something based largely or entirely on one's faith. That it is correct or will work despite having little or no evidence or assurance thereof. I like that. I like that part, right? And the reason why faith is so powerful, taking the leap of faith is so powerful, in itself is because the world still doesn't get it. You know, when you got a dream and you got a vision, and the person who it was given to, when God gave it to you, you saw everything. You saw it. Like, you saw the end result, right? Or at least you saw a particular stage of the dream having have happened, right? And the thing is, now you have to live with that. And in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, you know what you got to do. You know that you got to put in the work for this. You know that you can reach that place, the place where you saw the dream, the place where you saw yourself and you saw everything that came with it, right? You man, it was so visual. You visualized it and you could taste it. You almost could touch it. You could smell it, right? You'll stop at nothing to harness that dream. And the crazy thing about it is, the world, what they don't get about faith is that when you go and tell somebody your dream, right? They can't see it. Right? They only see you where you are today. They're not looking past tomorrow. They're like, I mean, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a big dream. But you working at McDonald's right now. You mopping floors in the custodial room. Like, you literally are picking up poop or wiping up throw up in the cafeteria. Like, I don't see you being no multimillionaire. I don't see you going out here being world renowned, international and stuff like that, man. But in the day and age we live in today, come on, man. Tomorrow, your dream could be right around the corner. But it's all about how much work you put in to see that thing in its fullness, right? In its completion. Man, I'm telling you, man, being a dreamer is not easy. Being a visionary is not easy. But it does something to you when you finally see that thing come to fruition. Like my spiritual mentor, like he always says, when you see something go from seed form to harvest, like literally check that out, from seed form to harvest, right? We're going to talk about a seed. We're going to talk about the Bible, right? The Lord says, at a minimum, I need you to have faith the size of a mustard seed. And I use this analogy all the time, because if you know what a mustard seed looks like, a mustard seed is so small, it's a speck, right? If you had it in the palm of your hand and you dropped it, no matter what surface that you're on, if you dropped that mustard seed, it would be gone forever. I promise you, you wouldn't be able to find it. You wouldn't be able to find it. Right? But that mustard seed, if it was planted right, if it was nurtured right, that mustard seed will become a great tree that would in turn bring about even more seeds. Well, it don't even, whatever it is, right? If it's a watermelon seed, you're gonna see the vine of the watermelon. You're gonna see the watermelon start to rise up, right? If it's, hang on, y'all. Sorry, timing out on me. If it's if it's a tree stalk, come on, man. Whatever you can think of with seeds in it, and you plant that thing, apple tree. There we go, apple tree. Take an an apple seed, if you want to be Johnny Appleseed with your bad self, plant that in the ground and watch the thing when it takes root, but it has to be planted in the right soil, right? It has to be nurtured right. It has to be cultivated. But when all the conditions come together for that apple seed is going to become this great apple tree. And it's going to produce so much fruit. It's going to produce so much fruit. And the crazy thing about it, within all of those other pieces of fruit, all the harvest is so rich, they come with more seeds. So that's what we're talking about. Talking about the leap. Are you the first person to take a leap in your family? Like, are you the dreamer of your family? Are you the visionary of your home? You know, like how some families, they got the black sheep of the family, the only person who went to college. Are you the only dreamer in your family? The only one with such high hopes and optimism? You know, and sometimes people think that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, man. You gotta be able to fight through the disbelief. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to be a believer at any time frame. I'm not just gonna say today. I'm gonna say through any time period. It's always been hard for the dreamers. Like, we've always been frowned upon because people can't see what we see. And you got to be a strong individual to fight, to go through the trials, the challenges, the tribulations, the obstacles in order to make your dream a reality. Man, it's like that. All right, y'all. So if you heard that tone, which I know you did, that's signaling our first segment, right? You already heard how the show was going. You know, we was already talking about the leap, but I want to introduce a segment where I'm going to take you off the rails. We're going to go off onto a random tangent, right? This segment is called the interlude. The interlude is just something where I'm just going to come in with something completely, out of the blue, completely off topic, only because sometimes I know it can get monotonous with this whole podcast thing. So for our interlude, our topic is Hercules, right? Not just Hercules, the character, but in particularly the 2014 movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? There's a particular scene in the movie which I love, man. And I know 2014 is out there, but y'all go back and watch that movie, right? For this one scene that I'm about to bring up. There's a scene where The Rock is chained up, or Hercules is chained up, right? They're in this dungeon, almost everybody in there is locked up. This is the prison, right? And the king it's two kings and the executioner. And they're about to execute one of the king's daughters, right? And Hercules is chained up. They pretty much talking down on him, slap him in the face. They didn't reveal that they the ones behind all of the death that's been going on, all the confusion in the land, whatever, right? And as they're about to execute the king's daughter, one of Hercules' partners is like, "Who are you? What is your name? Are you who they say you are? Are you the myth? Are you the legend? Tell me your name," right? And you see The Rock just trying to bust through the chains. Like he's literally like pulling the chains. Oh man, man, stuff like that, it do stuff to me, man. But he pulls it to the fullest extent. And and once again, his partner says it again. "What is your name?" And he says, "I am Hercules." And rip, the chains break. And he go and he smashes the executioner before he can even swing his axe. Oh my God, man, I love that scene so much, man. It gives me so much adrenaline. It pumps me up, man. I love The Rock, right? Because I came from that generation when The Rock first came out, on WWE, WWF, all that stuff, man. I remember those days. But that particular scene sets it off. Man, the whole movie is dope to me. It was a nice little twist on it. But that particular scene, I bring it up because, you got to remember who you are, right? Despite what people say about you, despite what people try to pit against you, despite whatever type of adversity or turmoil you may be going through, you got to remember who you are and why you were placed on this earth. You were given a purpose, right? I'm going to say it. You were given a purpose. And you have to know that you 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 are greater than anything that's trying to stop you from getting to your goal, from completing your task, completing your assignment, completing your mission. Man. And that wraps our very first segment of the interlude. Let's get back to the show. So, man, I'm telling y'all, the leap. I'm gonna give you some scripture, right? Because I believe that you can use this. I believe that you will benefit from this, whether you're a believer or whether you're a non-believer. But this is what I live by. This is what I believe in. And I know that the power that comes from it, right? And all glory and honor to the Most High. But Hebrews 11:1 says, "To have faith is to be sure of the things we hope for, to be certain of the things we cannot see." I'm going to say that again. Hebrews 11:1. To have faith is to be sure of the things we hope for, to be certain of the things we cannot see. It goes back to the dreams, right? Or the visions that you get. Whether it's starting a business, whether it's writing your very first book or movie, whether it's going out and being an activist, being a community leader, being the very first person on the Supreme Court justice of your race. I just had to throw that out there, humble flex. But it's something powerful when you see it. You see it in a whole nother dimension, right? And you got to believe that thing until it comes into reality. There's something strong about that, man. There's something strong. I'm going to give you a second one. 2 Corinthians 5:7. "For we walk by faith, not by sight." That's another one. "For we walk by faith and not by sight." The perfect person or character, should I say, the perfect character that I can really relate this to would be Daredevil from Marvel, right? From Marvel Comics. Um, Lost his vision in a freak accident where radioactive chemicals literally got into his eyes, right? Now, visually, he has lost his sight, but all of his other senses are heightened, right? This is his superpower. All his other senses are dialed in past 10, right? He can't see, but the way that his senses work, he can see better than the average man. Y'all ain't hear me, man. For we walk by faith and not by sight. Cover your eyes, right? Y'all do this exercise with me, right? Cover your eyes and tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. Because being able to see visually sometimes complicates our judgment. Sometimes you need to close your eyes and you need your other senses to kick in order for you to move, right? Why do you think some people get on a tightrope with a blindfold, right? Because what they see, what they're looking, when they tell you, when you're on a tightrope or when you up somewhere high, they always tell you what? Don't look down. Why? Because if you look down, you're going to get nervous. You're going to get it's going to mess you up even more. But because you can see the impending doom, the pending doom. If you fall, you're just like, oh man, I already know I ain't going to make it. But we walk by faith and not by sight, meaning we are trusting in God. We are trusting in God. Trusting Him to give us the extra senses, the dial us past 10 in order to accomplish this task. Man, think about the movies where the main characters always are stuck on one side of, I don't know, they're stuck on another building, they're stuck on something that's moving, and they got to get to the other side, right? Whether it's a cliff, whether it's literally like an earthquake and the earth then split in half and they stuck on one side, but they got to get over to the other side, right? Or they on a helicopter and they got to jump from the helicopter over to a building, right? It's always something like that, right? Or you're on ground and you got to jump to the spaceship before it flies off. It's always something like that, right? I'll say Juice, the movie Juice. When Q and Bishop are running from the police in the beginning of the movie, and they make it to the top of the building where they were about to attempt to jump across, and the police that caught up with them. They're like, "Come on, y'all, don't even worry about it. You're caught. You're caught. Come on, let us just book you. Let us take you down to the station. Don't even worry about it. Don't, And they look at each other and they hike their pants up. They like, and they both agree. They both came into agreement. We ain't going with y'all. Y'all are not about to take us to jail. They hike their pants up and they get the booking to the other side of the building and they jump and make it across. Make it across. If you want an exaggerated version of that, think about the Matrix, right? The Matrix where they literally running from one building, jumping out the window and landing into the next building through the other one. Crazy. But no hesitation is what I'm getting at. There's no hesitation for the leap. It's like, if I do, I do, or if I don't, I don't. But I will not hesitate in this moment. I'm going to have full courage to take that leap of faith. I'm going to jump. And that's what I'm getting at. That's what this whole episode is about. You taking the leap. So we hitting close to time. I'm gonna leave y'all with 3 questions. 3 questions I want you to ponder on, right? The 3 questions I have for you are: number 1, when are you going to take the leap? When are you going to take the leap? Number 2, what is stopping you from taking the leap? Literally, what's holding you back? What is stopping you from taking that leap that you know you want to take, that you need to take? And if life is taking a turn for the worse, you have to take. What's stopping you? And the last, sorry. And the last question: how do you think your life will change once you've made that initial jump? How do you think your life will change once you've made that initial jump? It got to be a change. Like I said about the movie characters, there's no hesitation in them taking the leap. If I do, I do. Or if I don't, I don't. This has been the leap. Hey, so with y'all pondering those questions, I would love to hear your answers. Go to the comment section wherever you are witnessing this and put your answers in that comment section. I would love to read them and love to hear them. Let's have some open dialogue. Let's have some discussion about the leap. Amen. This has been the first episode, first of many episodes to the Dreams We Speak On podcast. It's your host with the most, Denzel Martin. I'm going to see y'all. I'm going to catch y'all. To all my dreamers out there, I salute you. This is just a beginning. Let's go.